conversation is a step towards clarity, courage, and conscious living. I'm your host, Anya, and today we meet a man who rose from deep adversity to extraordinary leadership. James Epps Jr. grew in Lake City, South Carolina, facing poverty, trauma, and academic hardship. Yet, through sheer resilience and purpose, he became one of the few to achieve the rank of Master Gunnery Sergeant in the US Marine Corps. After 23 years of service, James now empowers others as motivational speaker, podcast host, and leadership trainer, proving that greatness is not forged, it's gifted. Let's dive in and discover what it really means to lead yourself through life's hardest battles. Welcome to the show, James. It's an honor to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on as a guest, man. It's always an honor to be on people's platforms, to be able to share my story and just to share like motivation and positive energy amongst people. So thank you for having me here. So thank you, Anna. I appreciate it for you having me on your show.
Thank you. So, James, your life is a powerful testament. What was the first mindset shift you made that helped you rise above your early struggles?
Well, how candid and open? I don't use profanity or nothing like that. How candid and open can I be? I don't want to share anything that's going to traumatize anybody. Can I kind of just share my story?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so growing up in a small town of Lake City, South Carolina, it wasn't a lot there. It was basically like it was black and white, and it was literally black and white. Like that's the population of people there. So I never really saw any other cultures. I never really understood anybody outside of what I saw every day. And growing up in the South, there was always a racial undertone with anything that goes on. But through all of that, I was just like any young kid, just trying to figure out life and go through life. The first bit of trauma I experienced was at the early age of 6 years old. At 6 years old, I was molested by one of my cousins. And that wasn't the only situation, but that was the first time that it happened. It caused me to feel some way about my body. It caused me to feel some way. My self-esteem was low. If that wasn't enough, I was overweight. I had gap teeth. And to be honest with you, my friends weren't always the nicest to me. So I experienced a little bit of bullying growing up. It's crazy that I go around and I tell people how great they can be, right? But the truth is, I never always thought I could be great. I really thought that I was a failure. I struggled all throughout school. I remember failing the seventh and the eighth grade, something my sister reminds me of until this day. So I never looked at myself as anybody that could do anything great with their life. I tell people I remember growing up eating these things I call I wish sandwiches. For those of you who don't know what I wish sandwich is, I wish there was some meat in between this bread, or I wish I could have a real pancake instead of this serpent bread sandwich that I'm eating, or I wish I had anything else to eat but what I'm eating right now. At my lowest moment, I wish that I was no longer on this earth. But two very important things happened during that time. The first one was I decided to live. So hopefully you guys can clap that up wherever you are. I decided to live. And the second one was I changed my mindset because I realized what I had been doing wrong at that time. I had been betraying myself to please other people. I had let other people's perspective of me become my perspective of myself. So when you ask me, what was the time where I can remember when that mindset shift? That was the time because growing up, I grew up in a trailer park. Some of my earliest memories was of my dad and my uncle running an extension cord from my uncle's house to our house so we could have lights in our home. So, so for me, that was my first kind of introduction to any kind of adversity. But the great thing about it is I went through that time, and when I got to my lowest moment, that's when my mind just said, like, I it's got to be better than this, right? And I didn't want to not be here. So that's the first early memories of me having a mindset shift.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And was there a specific moment or person that lit that spark of possibility for you?
Yeah, I would say my faith in like God, my faith in God, and then just I think that specific person was the person that everybody needs to be that specific person. It was me. It was me. It was me actually looking in the mirror because as much as other people can do for you, nobody can be better to you than you, you know? So it was me looking myself in the mirror and saying like, "Nah, man, you're worth it. Just be who you are because you have to be happy with the person that God made you to be." So that was the thing I would say, just looking in the mirror and realizing like, man, like, what am I doing? I'm living life like in the imposter syndrome. I'm living it for somebody else. I'm not living life for me. So it was not until I changed my mindset and my view on life and had a more positive mindset about like everything that was going on in my life. Like I just started being grateful for like, okay, maybe I don't have as much as other people, but I have something, you know? And so once that kind of clicked in me, it just made me a better person. And I just looked at life in a more positive light. So, and that's, you know, so that's why I love about your podcast. You talk about the inner light. And so that's where it kind of came from. It was that inner light in me to just be like, nah, I'm more than enough. You know, like I am enough. I can do more with what I'm doing with my life. And once I decided to do that, yes, there's been people along the way. There's been coaches, there's been teachers, there's been, you know, friends that have always told me, my parents always told me I could be great. But, you know, growing up and you're in kind of poverty, you're not gonna believe that, you know, because you're looking around like, well, why are we here then? You know, but I realized like, nah, they're right, you know, and it just took me with that mindset switch for me to actually listen and hear them. So I just realized everybody has greatness inside of them. I just had to figure out what was great about me, just like you have something that's great about you, you know, as you're a great host on this show. So thank you for, but yeah, that was it.
And I found that resilience isn't built in comfort, it's built in choice. And it sounds like you chose growth even when it wasn't easy.
Yeah, that's true. Like, yeah, I think that's the thing. Every day we wake up, we have a decision to make. Like I tell people, the most important day of your life is today because you decide how today goes. Like if I go outside and let's say I have four flat tires, I can make a decision and say, "Oh man, I'm having a bad day because I have four flat tires," or I could just change the tires and just go on with my day. You know, so every day we have a decision to make. And there's a quote that goes something like this. It says, when you're born looking like your parents. When you die looking like your decisions. And so your decisions is what make you like do the things that you want to do in life. Like, so if every day if you choose to be a better person, then eventually you'll be a better person if you're choosing to invest in yourself to become a better person. So your decisions is everything. And so if you make the decision that I'm going to grow, and every day you're not going to win, but if you have that kind of mindset, you're going to win more days than you lose. Like I tell somebody, if one day I woke up and said, I want to be a millionaire, and every day I invested and I tried to be a millionaire, if I only get to $900,000, right? Did I really fail? Maybe I didn't become a millionaire, but I'm a lot better off than I was before. And that's just my mindset. It's just if every day I'm trying to be better and I'm striving towards my goals, then eventually I'll be where I want to be. So.
Absolutely. And serving 22 years in the Marine Corps is no small feat, especially reaching Master Gunnery Sergeant. What core values from that experience do you carry into civilian leadership today?
Oh, my big thing is, man, I love people. I love people. So my thing was always like the military was always just like a big team sport to me, you know, because like we all need each other. But the thing is like a lot of us, we don't really take the time to really get to know each other. We don't take the time to really get to know what makes that person tick. What is it that's like, we'll just, if somebody's in a leadership position, sometimes it's like, well, I'm the leader, you listen to me. No, I don't, I want you to respect me. I want you to understand what we're doing. So I want to get to know you because I want you to understand why we're doing something. I want everybody to buy in, everybody be on one team. So I think the military just really just cemented that home for me because I tell people all the time, I said, man, the military is crazy because it's like if you're in the civilian world, you could not like somebody, you're not going to die for them. In the military, I could not like you, but I'll still take a bullet for you, and that's crazy. It's just because those are the honor, courage, commitment, the values that we took, the oath that we took. It means something, because it's for something greater than you. A lot of people don't really understand that when you're fighting for something greater, right? And so when you put something above just you and just self, so the military just taught me just like it's got to be bigger than just me. And so once I really developed that mindset, I just really had a love for people. And so right now, that's how the motivational speaking thing came, because it was like, man, I don't mind doing my job. My job was logistics, and I'm like, "Hey, it's cool." But really why I came to work was the love of people and to see people get better. Because my mindset was always, if I can help them become better people, I can help them become better Marines. So and either way, they're gonna live a life outside of when, like, I did 22 years, but now I gotta live my normal life. I'm not in the military anymore. So what kind of person am I? What kind of legacy am I gonna leave on this earth? And that's the thing. And so I just always focused on trying to help make better people. So that was always my focus.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And how do how do those same values help others? Like, even if they've never worn a uniform.
Oh, like I talk to people like all across this country. So I talk to people on leadership. I talk to them about the importance of connection, right? Because my whole thing is like, how do we come to work in an environment every day and we know nothing about the person that works right beside us? How do we not get to know each other? We're traveling on the same journey every day. We see people and we know nothing about them, because it's been so many times in my career where I would see people that I only see, like if you pass somebody every day, let's say you work in this big office building and you may see people and you may not really know them, but you may speak to them every day. Like I'm the type of person, if I saw you every day, I would speak to you every day. And then I'll look at you. If you speak to me differently, if I saw you again, see, I'm even studying you right now. You don't even know it. Like if I saw you again and you didn't have the same energy that you had this time, the first thing I'm gonna ask you is how you doing? And I ask people all the time, I say, like, when you ask people how are they doing, are you really asking them how are they doing? Or is it just something that we just say sometimes? I'm really asking you how are you doing, because I've had situations where I spoke to somebody and I was used to speaking to them. I really didn't know too much about them, just being polite. But like I said, I'm studying people every time I say something to them. And they spoke to me in a way that I just felt like, no, I need to, like, really, how you doing, man? And then that person said that they wanted to commit suicide. And during that time, and that's just from me just seeing and interacting with people. So a lot of times I talk to people about the importance of connection and the importance of having a great culture, just having the right people around you and really just knowing each other, being connected. Don't just be on this earth and don't live this life by yourself. So that's my big thing that I really try to get into people, and then also that positive self-belief, because the military just taught you just so much, that never say die attitude, never quit, believe in yourself and motivate and all that stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I just try to, that positive energy towards people.
Mm-hmm. And leadership isn't about authority, it's about presence. And your presence carries both power and peace. And that's so rare now.
Yeah. I would tell people like I'm more of a servant leader. Like people think like they get put in leadership position as like now I'm the person in power. I've never looked at it like that. Every day, like I used to work to earn my Marines respect or earn the respect of people around me, even though not necessarily my position said like, okay, I'm the person in charge. But for me, it was always, I wanted you to respect me. So I always tried to look good in my uniform. I always was respectful of people, no matter what their rank was, no matter what their rate. So it was a thing to me is just understanding like when you get put in position, it's not for you to be like, okay, now I get to chill and make everybody else do the work. Now this is when I need to make sure that your life is easier. I need to make sure you have everything you need to be successful. And so that was always my process. and how I thought is to make sure, like, okay, the people that are working for me, am I doing everything in my power to give them the tools that they need to be successful at their job? Am I giving you, even I think about this platform, I want to make sure that however this interview goes, like I want to make sure that I give you what you're looking for your audience. I want to make sure that we're connecting in a way. I'm always mindful of that I don't want to give you a bad interview, you know. So I don't want your audience to be like, why did you invite him on? What is wrong with you? Why did you pick him? You know, so I'm always thinking about the people that I'm in contact with and connected with, because I want things to be successful and I want the best for you. So as a servant leader, that just was always my thought process, is like, okay, how can I help this person be better?
That's great. And as someone who trains and speaks on leadership, what do you believe is the biggest myth about it and what it takes to lead?
Oh, like I think the biggest myth about leadership is, like I was saying before, as like some people, like if you were not trained properly, you would think like, okay, now I get to be the boss. You don't want to be a boss. You don't want people to look at you as their boss. Now, the thing is, I tell people like there are different styles of leadership, and you have to figure out which one is better for you and who you are, because I think people respond to authenticity. I can't say the word. You know what I'm talking about. Authentic people. Okay, that's better. All right. People respond to authentic people, right? Because if you try to be me and I'm loud, I'm crazy, it wouldn't probably work for you, you know. I don't know you like that, but I'm just saying, I'm just making this as example. I'm very loud, I'm very crazy, I'm in your face sometimes, and sometimes I'm a little much for some people. But I take the time to understand the people that like the people around me. So I'm not the same way to everybody. I understand that this person may be an introvert. So when I approach that person in a different way than I approach somebody who may be an extrovert, you know, because I understand that that person needs something different from me than the other people. So I think what people's misconception of leadership is that we all have to be the same, and that's not true. I think you have to be the person that you are and lead in that way. And I think people respond better to that type of leadership. If you're the person that leads by example, then lead by example. Just every day show like this is what you're supposed to be doing. If you're the person that is a motivated person who's the voiceless person who inspires, then be the person who inspires. If you're the person who's the driving person, who's demanding of people, as long as you're consistent, I think people respect it. Like, all right, that's who that person is, and they respect you as a leader. So I think that's the misconception, is people just think like you have to be one way in leadership, and that's not true.
Makes sense. And how do you help people recognize their leadership potential, even if they don't see themselves the way yet?
Oh, just I do this thing called DISC. DISC kind of breaks down like different like yeah, your behavior types. So that is one thing we do like in a training that I do. Basically it breaks down like kind of like who you are when you're around your friends, and kind of who you are when you're at work, right? So it kind of breaks down your different personality type, I guess you would say. And then in doing so, that it helps people to understand like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Like I'm a supportive person. Like I'm the person who I'm good at supporting whatever we're doing. Maybe so I need to be in positions to where if you're the person in charge of making sure all the supplies get there, you'll be great at that. But if you're the person that had to be the inspiring person, then you're not you're not really going to be successful, right? But then if you have the person who is the inspiring person, the person who likes to talk, who gets along with everybody, who for some reason, they can inspire everybody, then you want to put that person in front. If you have the person who's like the driving person, the person who needs to be like driving a new thing. Like if you have a new something that's coming out and you need somebody to drive it, put that person in that position. And like if you have somebody who's like they're really big on facts and numbers and stuff like that, it's just learning the different type of people that you work with and what makes you a strong leader. And once you learn that about yourself, it'll actually help you pick the jobs that you're in. Like you'll understand, like, okay, this is the type of person that I am. maybe I don't need to this certain position that I thought I wanted to do because it just doesn't fit my personality type or my leadership style of who I am. And so that's the kind of things that I kind of like when I talk to people, like I kind of help them out with is just understanding who they are as leaders. And so it kind of helps put people in the right position for them to succeed.
Hmm. And I love the idea that leadership begins with self trust, not a title.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because the people who fall trap to it being a title, it's just like, that's all you become. It's like I love the Marine Corps. As you can see, I have like I love me back here. You see it right here. But I love it, but it's not all who I am, because at some point I had to take the uniform off. And when I take the uniform off, I'm just like anybody else who go to Walmart or who goes to stores. I go to the mall, whatever it is that I do, I'm just like anybody else. So once I take that uniform off, and so the people who just fall trap, that's their identity. And I just always understood that wasn't just my identity. And so they get trapped. So now they think they can boss everybody around, and it's like, no, you can't. You're just that's your title, and that's great for that to be your title. But do you want people to respect your title, or you want people to respect you? And I'm always big and I want you to respect me. If I gotta tell you my title, that was always my thing. If I gotta tell you my title, something went very wrong. If I gotta tell you like, "Oh, do you know this is who I am?" Oh, yeah, that's a bad day right there because that person or whoever you're talking to just don't respect you. So, I never, tell people don't fall, don't get trapped in the titles. So
Hmm. Absolutely. And you have faced poverty, trauma, and setbacks and turned them into fuel. What's your message to someone who is currently feeling stuck or invisible?
So, my message to someone who's feeling stuck or invisible, like no matter what you're going through, no matter what it is, keep living. Keep living, and every day just try to start by just winning today. And once you start winning the day, and even if whatever you're going through, even if it's so bad, just win the hour, just win the minute, whatever it takes for you to keep going. So I thought at that moment when I got to my lowest moment, and it's been other moments where I just been so depressed and I've gone through stuff. But I realized, man, I just got to keep going because if I keep living and just try to be better than it was yesterday, then life eventually gets better. Never did I think I was going to be like, okay, I'm going to be a motivational speaker. I'm going to be speaking to people on motivation, right? Not especially when I was feeling down and feeling lost and feeling all alone. Never did I think I would be telling people, nah, you can be whatever you want to be. So get up, look up, because if you get up, then you can look up. And so I just encourage people just keep living, man. Just keep living and just try to be better than you were yesterday. And whatever the thing is that you're going through, you'll look back 10 years from now, you'll look back 20 years from now, you'll look back 30 years from now, and you'll say, I'm glad I kept living. I'm glad I kept going because if I wouldn't, look what I would have missed. Look where I am now, and that's where I am. I'm like, man, I have 3 beautiful children. I have a grandchild. I have a beautiful wife, have a beautiful family. I live a beautiful life. Imagine, and I just think about what if I would have took my life that day? Just how many more things would have changed in my life? You know, what about those times that I was down? What if I'd have gave up during those times? Look at all the things that I will miss. So I just cherish each day. So I just tell you, just keep living. Things will get better. And if you just keep putting that positive energy out there, keep trying to do things. I know some of you may not have great living situations, whatever it is that you're going through, just keep living and just trying to do things better. And I promise you, it'll get better.
Hmm. Sometimes people wait for motivation, but maybe what they really need is momentum. And you're living proof of that.
Yes, and that's true. So just all you need to do, if you never start, you can never finish. So the thing is you just got to be able to get up and start. I'm really big on working out, But sometimes I get tired and I'll be like, I don't want to get up today. But I always know that as soon as I fight it and I get up, once I get out, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna just walk today. But then I get to a certain point and my body be like, nah, we run right here. So it's time to run, and so I start running. And eventually I was like, man, I didn't feel like I could do everything that I did today, but I eventually did more than what I thought I could do. So really all it takes is you just really getting up and pushing yourself and not listening to that bad voice that says, no, you can't do it. Nah, go ahead and do it. Because once you do it, you'll see that, man, I'm glad I got up and did it because look what I've become. Look what I've done. So I'm sure that's how you felt when you started this podcast. So great job on you.
So, James, thank you for showing us that leadership is less about rank and more about resolve. Your journey reminds us that no matter where we start, we get to choose how we rise. And to our listeners, your story isn't over. Whether you're on the battlefield of self doubt, transition, or trauma, remember, your next chapter can be one of victory. So until next time, stay grounded, stay strong, and keep leading from your inner.